Hey there, everyone. Welcome. I wanted to share a few insights about the new moon in Cancer. Now, this new moon in Cancer is happening on Tuesday, June 28th. If you're in Canada and the US, if you're in Australia, UK, or Europe, that new moon will hit for you on the 29th of June, overnight or early in the morning. You can see the chart on the screen. I'm going to share that through the video today. The new moon is happening Eastern times. That's Toronto, New York time, just before 11 p.m. on the 28th of June. So that's the date for the new moon, late on the 28th or through the middle of the night and early morning on the 29th of June, depending on where you are. You can see the new moon is at 7 degrees of Cancer. I've used a chart with the location for Toronto, Canada, but I would mostly encourage you to insert the new moon degree of 7 degrees Cancer into your own chart to see what house that falls in for you. So I'm going to share some thoughts that I put together in a blog post, but I thought you might enjoy hearing about them here as well. So here are my sort of thoughts and feelings about the new moon in Cancer. I love this time of year. As the days get longer, life seems to open up. Possibilities appear endless, and I often fall into the trap of thinking I can do everything I want in the short summer months. Maybe you have that same issue. While this can sometimes be a bit disappointing, the way having unrealistic expectations in any situation does, it also opens me up to saying yes to things that I would normally shy away from. Yes, we'll come to dinner on a Sunday night. Sure, let's catch up later in the evening. Why not? After all, the sun will still be up, so why can't we? There's something about opening and receiving and taking it all in that really hits during Cancer season in the Northern Hemisphere, where the hot sun and longer days help draw me out and into the world. Being seized by the spirit of adventure may not normally be something you associate with the new moon in Cancer, but this year, in 2022, the new moon in Cancer forms a dynamic square aspect to bold and free-spirited Jupiter in Aries. And I'm just going to draw that in on the chart. So the new moon in Cancer happens June 28th or 29th, as we said. And keep in mind that starts a 2-week period. So the energy of this new moon, which happens on June 28 or 29, will be in play for 2 weeks until we get to the full moon. So this new moon in Cancer kicks off a 2-week period where stretching and going for it is encouraged. You might be ready for an adventure. You could be bored with routine, or you might be prepared to take a risk. You might crave excitement or want to expand your understanding of yourself, your loved ones, or some other larger topic in the world. You might dance between kind of craving time with people or in places that are familiar to you, which of course the sun in Cancer gravitates towards. And you might also be finding yourself curious about situations or settings that are outside your comfort zone and thus spark growth and expansion, which is what Jupiter in Aries is all about. Even in Australia, I know where it's winter now, right now, I know that there's also the 2-week school holiday period that happens at this time of year, and that can open the door to travel. So you will be changing up your routine, discovering different ways to explore each day. When I was a child, our big annual holiday trip was in the July holidays in the wintertime in Australia. The whole family would pack up the trailer, pile into the car, head north up the Pacific Highway to a place called Pacific Palms near Elizabeth Beach, where we'd camp for 2 weeks. So the sign of Cancer is associated with home, with family, and with community. It's also associated with those emotional ties that nourish the soul and with connection to the parts of the world or those places in nature that really kind of ground you and anchor you, that sustain you in some way. Cancer is also associated with that gateway of life and birth and beginnings. And this season every year, the sun in Cancer season, is an ideal time to begin something. So that whole 4 weeks that the sun is in Cancer is a great time for kind of watering the seeds of possibilities. But of course, the most particularly potent time for beginnings and starting afresh and looking forward in that Cancer season 4-week period is going to be this new moon in Cancer. And even though Cancer itself, as we said, is associated with home, with family, with feelings, with mood, with memory, it's really important to actually identify where Cancer falls in your personal birth chart. That way, you can connect that fresh start and new beginnings energy of the new moon in Cancer to the topics of the Cancer house in your personal chart and life journey. For instance, if you have a Cancer midheaven or you have Cancer on the 10th house part of your chart, so up the top in the chart, this new moon in Cancer might bring those beginnings or new projects at work and in your career or the professional parts of your life. If Cancer is on the second house of money, cash flow, and income for you, then you might be ready for a new spending plan. You might want to update your budget, or you might be ready to explore new income opportunities. If, however, Cancer is on the seventh house, the descendant part of your charts, that new moon energy in Cancer might mean that you're ready to start over or start afresh in a close relationship. You could be beginning a new relationship, or maybe you're entering a new chapter in an established partnership, a professional partnership, or a personal partnership. So you do want to think about how this new moon in Cancer might be activating your personal chart. That's how you get the most individual insights. So this new moon in Cancer is linked to that lucky Jupiter in Aries. It does suggest that taking a risk can pay off. Maybe one thing to keep in mind here is that it's, maybe you achieve your goal, maybe you don't. It's not so much about whether you get what you thought you would get when you took the risk, but that the taking of the risk itself can teach you something that you can learn and discover along the way. That's the thing about Jupiter. The adventures and projects and plans that Jupiter can encourage you to start, they don't have to be a raging success for them to have value. Because you'll gain wisdom, you'll learn, you'll grow, you'll become a more wise, experienced version of yourself simply by trying new things, by getting out of your comfort zone, regardless of whether those undertakings work out as you'd originally hoped or not. Jupiter in Aries and its link to the new moon in Cancer can also be an invitation from the cosmos to kind of dream big and visualize a new way forward, one that perhaps celebrates your individuality and supports your autonomy. Jupiter in Aries suggests that sometimes growth may involve striking out alone or forging ahead solo. So daring to choose yourself may be the gift of this new moon in Cancer. Both Cancer and Aries are cardinal signs who love a specific goal or target to focus on. And you might find that you're better able to manage distractions or really concentrate on who or what really matters as we go into and through this new moon. You might also find yourself kind of moving between connection and closeness, which is that Sun in Cancer vibe, but also that need for space or freedom, which is something that Jupiter and Aries really wants. Because Jupiter and Aries and the Sun in Cancer, they're both cardinal signs, but they express that energy in different ways. So see if you can make a bit of time for both. If you can find some energy for quality time and connection with the people and for the partnerships that really nourish you, but also make sure you've got some energy to pursue a personal passion or a project of your own. In general, I think this new moon in Cancer has an uplifting, future-focused quality, and that might really help you kind of pick your battles, choose your own adventure, and power forward. So I'd love to hear from you under this new moon in Cancer. What are you ready to start or to restart? Do you have a plan or an adventure or a goal that you're dreaming about? This new moon in Cancer, I know Cancer is a sign that can really hold on to history and the past, but the Jupiter in Aries, the fire placement there and the nature of Jupiter is really encouraging forward, it's looking forward, moving forward, creating momentum, getting things started for the future. So I'd love to hear how that is showing up for you. Thanks for joining me for this video, team. For those of you who enjoy my video and audio insights about the aspects of the week and the month ahead, I'd invite you to check out my monthly astrology guide service, where I provide video content about all the astrology that's happening every day and every week. And that is exclusively to members only. I'll put the link in the show notes below. So enjoy this new moon, everyone. I look forward to hearing how it is for you, and I'll be back again with more soon. Bye for now.